Hey, welcome back to the episode of Instagram podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah?
I'm having a bad time, man.
Why? Why are you having such a bad time?
Because we're not in the same room for like...
I think this is revolutionary.
I fucking hate it.
I think it's great. We are exercising, social distancing, and we were recording individually and trying an experiment. So apologies if the episode's a little bit weird, but we are just trying to keep our country safe.
I think it's some fucking bullshit. I told Trip that he's overreacting, but he refused to do the podcast with me in the same room.
There are a lot of reasons.
I don't want to hear it. Nope, don't care. I think you're fine. But hey, I'm here to support my boy. If my boy wants to not be my boy in the same room, it's okay then.
Good, because I'm not willing to kill anybody. Tay, this week we're going to talk about Beastars, you guys. It's the new show that came out on Netflix. And how'd you feel about it before we get into it? You know,
I felt it was interesting. It was I feel like it was a good time. It's worth watching.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah, there's some weird things in it. I feel like, but I feel like I finally understand why you're so into like furries, man. I get it.
Yeah,
I get why you're always.
It makes you a furry, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand now. I'm like, cool. Yeah, people should fuck rabbits. Yes, this makes perfect sense. Yeah. So
no,
I feel
when we started out, I was like, yeah, man, this is for sure some like good ass furry shit. But that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't mean that like because I don't give a fuck if anybody's a furry or not. It's not my lifestyle. I don't know it.
No, Trip, it's fine.
This show is like some fucking top-notch furry shit.
Yeah, no, I get it. I feel like I have a better insight on like who you are and like the things that you like, and like you don't have to hide yourself from me, man. We're always boys.
Yeah, man. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it should be fun to talk about though.
Yeah, man. So what have you been up to? What's new with you?
I don't know, man. It's been a week. When was the last time we saw each other? Was it for the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh man, what has happened? I feel like a lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff I don't want to really talk about, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Things that I'm willing to talk about. I mean, I got to see Onward, which was it dad legs or whatever? Would you and Kyle call it?
Yeah, dad legs.
Yeah.
I don't know what I called it. I don't think it has a name.
So we got around to watching it in the theaters.
Weren't you like Olaf's Big Adventure levels of upset when you saw the intro short?
Yeah, the intro short's this like this Simpsons intro short with like a Maggie having an adventure at the park. Okay, so here's the thing. I wasn't as upset. I was so much more upset when I saw Olaf sing for 10 minutes.
It was like 30 minutes, but yeah.
The Maggie thing did take me by surprise. I guess it's because
shocked.
Disney has acquired was it a lot of Fox properties? Yeah.
So it's like they were flexing. They were just like, look at us.
And I don't know. I mean, I was never like a huge fan of The Simpsons growing up. I caught a few episodes here and there. I can appreciate other people who like them. Like there's a podcast I listen to that like always has like these they'll bring up like little bits from the show, and like they seem to really enjoy it, and I enjoy when they enjoy it.
Hey man, there's some classic Simpsons stuff that's great.
I just think it wasn't like my time. I think I was a more Futurama kind of guy than I was a Simpsons guy. But yeah, it didn't bug me that much. It was okay. The Olaf one really pissed me off, but I was flustered because I'm really fucking sick of seeing just trailers, because like the movie's supposed to start at 12:30 and I was like, come on, it's like 30 minutes of trailers, and I was like, I'm like losing my shit.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I think my least favorite thing about it was Tom Holland's voice acting.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's a point
of it.
It didn't
distract me, but I could understand that. Yeah.
I just felt like his voice didn't really fit the character too much, and there was parts where I'm just like, that's Spider-Man, like, you know, just kind of like it took me out of it.
Yeah, but for me, I didn't have that feeling at all.
I don't know. And then on the other hand, like, is it Chris Pratt, right? That did the other one. Like I was so into his character.
Dude, he was amazing. Also, I guess a little bit of movie spoilers, but there was a major character in the movie that wound up dying the way that Juan wants to die. And I was like, holy shit, that's the perfect death.
When did that happen?
It was the Valkyrie send-off.
Valkyrie send-off.
Yeah, before the fields.
What? Who? I really don't remember.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off the podcast. It's too new, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Because I did go pee for a sec. Oh no, I remember.
Yeah,
now.
you know. Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
I was like, holy shit, that is the best D&D death that anyone could ask for.
Yeah, it was. I was telling Sarah that like after the movie was done, I was like, that was probably the best Dungeons and Dragons movie I've ever seen. Like
it was so good.
It was a good time.
Anyways,
really,
everyone should go see Onward. Pixar fucking crushed it again.
When you get a chance. If you're, I've talked to people in my class the other day. Yeah, the other day I was talking to people on my online class.
Well, movie theaters are shutting down.
Yeah. And we're all learning to be animators or studying animation. So I brought up in chat like, "Hey, have you guys seen Onward?" And some of them were like, "Yeah, I was able to watch it." And then a bunch of people were like, "The movie theater in my town is closed down." And I was like, "Oh, that's understanding." I was like, "Well, just know that whenever you get a chance at home video or whatever, you should check it out."
No, do it safely. Like we were pretty much the only people in that theater. I think there were 8 people in it, and it was
I think we had 8 people too, and we had like a really it was for sure like grandma and grandpa taking their granddaughter to the movies, and grandma and grandpa needed to shut the fuck up. Oh my god, they were so fucking annoying. Like there's times where shit would happen and grandpa would be like, that's not how that works, that's ridiculous. And then
it's magic. Fuck.
And then sometimes something would happen and grandma would be like, "Oh, that's funny." Like, how that's so funny. It's like, then fucking laugh, bitch.
People that say that's funny is a really hard thing for me to get over.
Yeah, because if it actually were funny, you'd be,
yeah, you'd be laughing, you'd be cackling, you'd be doing your thing.
Yeah. So that was fine. Had a good time going to the movies. What else have I done? I finished. You and I talked about this just a little bit ago. Sierra finished watching Downton Abbey, and I finished listening to her tell me about Downton Abbey. She changed over from watching Supernatural to Downton Abbey, and at first I would like to sit down and just kind of like give her shit for it. Like, this is so dumb, and then I got kind of invested in characters because like it's the show where nothing happens but everything happens at the same time. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, my lord, I used to be a fucking singer and now I'm a butler, and please don't tell people, I'm so ashamed. And the guy's like, hey man, it's all good. And that's it. And I go, oh my god, I'm so glad everything's all good.
Was it all good? Okay, so it was all good.
I enjoyed it, honestly. Like there were times where like I would sit down and watch an episode, and there's times where I'd like go away, and Sierra like was doing work, so I would come back and Sierra's like, yeah, I'm on season 4 now. I'm like, oh, what the fuck happened to season 2 and 3? And she
devoured them.
And then she would be like, yeah, that character's dead. This is a new person. That person's fucking this person. That person had a baby. And I'm like, oh my god, how long was I gone for?
Long enough, man.
But it was entertaining. There's a movie that came out I think not too long ago, like a few years ago, and I'm actually like excited to rent it and sit down and watch the Downton Abbey movie. Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice, dude.
I think besides that, I mean, I just had my last class for this animation thing, and this week is I have like one more assignment that I'm working on, and I've just been like kind of plugging away at that. But it's been a super like just kind of grinding to get things done.
Yeah.
And then I get 2 weeks off. Wouldn't you fucking know? That's all the time I get off. 2 fucking weeks. Yeah. And then I'm right back at it. Yeah.
Hey man, whatever. That's still a good spring break, right?
Yeah. It's better than other people's spring breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, man? What have you been up to?
I watched all of Medical Police. I really liked it. It was a super fun time. It's like a direct sequel to Children's Hospital. So it's just over the top comedy, and it was a great time. I don't know. I loved it. I highly recommend it to people that really like things like Wet Hot American Summer, Stella, anything David Wayne has done, essentially. Maybe people that were into like Kimmy Schmidt, 30 Rock type things, Community, that kind of stuff. I felt like it was that level of like there are some over-the-top ridiculous things that happen, but everyone treats everything that is said very seriously, which is perfect in that slapstick over-the-top kind of goofy thing. Yeah. So really enjoyed that. And then I feel like, oh yeah, I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know about it, man. The writers, not that great.
I like the cold opens. There's some really good cold opens.
There are,
and,
yeah.
And I think that's about it. Like I've never like sat down and watched like multiple episodes because I don't think I like it. But like there's bits of it that really like shine in my opinion.
I liked a few seasons of it, and then these last two I haven't really been into. People didn't like the writers last season, and now people don't like the writers this season, or they do like them, and they're like, oh man, last season's the worst. I'm like, I mean, both of them aren't great. They've just changed styles. Like, this feels a little bit more like they run jokes into the ground with this season. And that works sometimes, and it doesn't work other times. So I've been struggling enjoying it as much as I had in the past. So I don't know. Still something to watch, but it's not for me. Yeah. I guess I really haven't been up to much. Been playing a lot of Monster Hunter lately. Been playing with Tom. It's good, dude. I don't know. Monster Hunter, every single time I play it, I feel like it's the most fun I've ever had. And then I stop and I'm like, well, that was all right, I guess. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah. Also, been playing some Tetris 99 again. I placed the highest I've ever placed. I placed second place.
You fucking loser.
Good. Oh,
you
man.
Fucking loser.
Fucking awesome. And then Tom and I learned how to play together. We just have to like count down and then hit it at the same time.
And you guys end up in the same pool or whatever.
Uh-huh. And I'm like, there are 43 people in mine. He's like, 43 are in mine too. Yeah, we did it. And then we kick each other's ass, and it's pretty fun.
Is there a way for you and Tom to team up, or like,
there is like a team game in it? It's split into 4 different teams. There's water, fire, leaf, and electricity.
Air, obviously. I know the air avatar. I've seen it all.
Water, fire, leaf, and electricity. So we just always went on Team Electric, since that's the one we started on. We're like, let's just keep doing it. And it was fun, man. It gets scary when you're the last one up against those other people on the other teams that are all fighting you at once. But if you take out a leader, you get a little penguin icon. And I did that, and it felt really good. So now I've got a little penguin guy on my Tetris 99 file. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I want to play a lot more Doom. Doom is fucking incredible. I don't know why nobody told me this until people are just like, yeah, Doom's a really fun game. And I'm like, yeah, Doom's cool. Like, I mean, I like Doom 1 and 2, but those are the only ones I played aside from Doom 3, which was fucking garbage. Never ever think, like, you could do throwback games. You could do Doom 1, 2, 64. Don't do 3. It was the worst game. So that's what I thought they were doing. I thought it was going to be another Doom 3 type thing where they're going for this like more horror aspect instead of just like you're a guy that's going and killing demons. And I thought it was a little bit of both in this newer game, but I didn't understand that it was just tons of nonstop action platforming, finding secrets, killing demons. Oh man, it's so much fun. I want to play more. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that you're enjoying your video game time. If you get like a quarantine, I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll have plenty of games to play.
Yeah, man, I've got lots of anime that I want to go through too.
Nah, fuck that. We don't watch anime.
Oh man, some anime is so fucking good. Like Beastars hooked me on it. I was so into it so fast, and I didn't expect to be at all. And I want to feel that way about a new show that I've heard of but have never like watched, you know? Do that with Fate. I watch all of Fate in one day. Speed watch it. What do you think?
No, we're not watching Fate. I watched that one movie and I'm so super confused. She's got a big shield. That's all I know.
That's Beaufrey, dude.
What was I going to say? I was going to say I forgot to mention how I placed this week in Survivor.
Yeah, how was your Survivor placement?
7th place, baby.
Hey, we're going steady, you know?
I mean, I'm going up.
Yeah, we're knocking them off.
I was at
Getting
4,
up there.
and then 3, and then 3 for a bit, and then down to 9, and now I'm at 7.
Yeah.
So boy's got some game. I know how to
He's
pick
a little
people.
bit talented.
I'm a little bit talented. I know what to do. Anyway, this past week, Boston Rob got voted out. Who is people argue he's like one of the best survivors. He's played a lot of times. He's like a fan favorite and stuff. And I'm pretty indifferent towards him. I do get that he's played a lot and he's been around for a while. But my issue is that he's also like lost a lot. He's also, just because he's played plenty of times. I mean, he's only won the one time.
Yeah.
And the time he did win, I don't want to say anyone's the win. Like you can't take it away from those people. But I feel like it was like super easy. Like he essentially brainwashed his entire tribe to do everything. Like they couldn't do anything without him. He implemented this thing called the buddy system, where everybody had a buddy, and if your buddy went to the bathroom, you had to go with him. If your buddy went to the watering hole, you had to go with him.
Why?
Because that way, if your buddy were to talk to another, like once they're merged, like at the tribe that merged in with you, you're supposed to hold each other accountable. So if your buddy's talking to somebody he's not supposed to, your buddy's supposed to tell on you and come tell Boston Rob. And that way the buddy feels like, well, I can't talk to anybody because my buddy's here watching me talk to anybody. But he somehow convinced them all that it was like for the betterment like of everybody, to be like, yeah, we'll just hold each other accountable and no one will actually build relationships and we'll all just let you win.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so in this last episode, because I told this season's like a bunch of people who've all won, they're all returning winners.
Yeah.
The Boston Rob's tribe is like their tribe lost, and there's 5 of them. 3 of them were from an existing tribe, and the other 2 were from another existing tribe. So the 2 were outnumbered, but the 3 people that were together didn't really work together, and they've actually worked against each other. But they came together and they said, "Hey, man, we've got to like stick together. We, the 3 of us against the 2 of them." And he says, "We gotta do the buddy system." So he does it again, and it's now like the buddy system, but it's like with people who have won and seen him win doing this before.
That's
so they're literally
funny.
He's like, so that all 3 of them sit in the. He doesn't call it the buddy system. He says like, what we do is we all just hang out, and like none of us leave the camp until tribal council, which is at night. So they all sit at the camp, all 5 of them, just for hours, and they're just like, "Hey, have you ever had a deep fried Twinkie?" Yeah. It's like, "Hey, how do you eat Oreos? Do you like dunk them or do you like break them apart?" Like, because they're not talking about game. No one's leaving. And I was laughing so hard. I was like, I can't fucking believe how dumb this is. And then they voted him out, which is crazy. Because they a lot of people came to realizations like, well, like we're not just gonna let you win. We've seen you win this way before.
He's trying to do the exact same thing. Like, what a dumbass. Also, if it worked, wow, those people would be so stupid. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was so funny being serious, and they're like just like kind of baffled, like this can't be happening. Like he maybe he does have powers. I mean, he can brainwash people. Like,
oh my god.
He also has like this very like Godfather mafioso vibe of him. So he's like very like, hey, you talking to me kind of thing. It's like, and it's also because of like where he's from and how he looks. But for sure he plays into that stereotype of being like a mob boss or some sort of like hired hitter hand. It's like it was really fun to watch that last episode. And the online community I'm a part of, a lot of people were like really upset that he got voted out, and a lot of people were just like, "Yeah, fuck you, Boston Rob, you piece of shit." And I mean, some people were like, "I don't know, I just had a great time with the episode." So, and I'm in 7, so everything's good right now.
Yeah, you're in 7. Fuck you guys. I'm going up.
I can't wait to see what happens next week. Yeah, I'm having a good time. Oh yeah, nice. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody.
Okay.
2 people are getting voted out. Shh, don't tell anybody.
What? Okay, that's tell anybody. Too crazy.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah, man, that's it. I can't believe I forgot. I was about talking the favorite thing in the world.
Yeah,
Survivor.
Now
let's go back to our anime podcast.
I haven't been watching Survivor at all, so I've got no.
It's okay.
On any of that, but
you can catch up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I haven't been up to anything else. Things are all right. I'm just trying to get on that quarantine schedule so I could still work from home. I could do pretty much everything from home, but our company, like, we're not closing our gym, the community gym, which I think is crazy
It's a bad idea.
People aren't. Not everyone cares. Not everyone thinks that there's a virus spreading, but like they're probably not going to wipe stuff down before they use it. They might forget to wipe it down when they're.
Well, Trip.
What?
Have you ever seen a coronavirus?
No, not
okay.
Yet,
then there you go. Okay, if you can't see it, it's not real.
I don't want you to spread this stupid fucked up information. Like right now we are in one of the most contagious weeks, this week and next week, but we won't see it until it's too late. And then you see everyone suddenly break out because a week went by and then there's a ton more illnesses. I don't know. People just don't. They're not reading all of the same information. They're not like trying to keep out for it. They're just like, oh, it's just like the flu, but not as bad.
It's kind of like the flu, just not as bad.
It's killed more people than the flu this year.
Yeah, I mean, but flu's having a bad season this year. Just kind of like Boston Rob having a bad season this year in Survivor.
Like literally days ago, it was like the flu has killed more people, and now it's the coronavirus has killed more people. COVID-19 is not going to stop. It's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. And because of that, we're stuck like this. Now you and I can't actually be friends anymore.
We're still actual friends. I don't know why everyone's being such a dumb bitch about doing the same shit that you always do, but now you're a little bit further away.
We're not friends anymore. It's fine.
No, instead, we're dumb bitches.
Yeah, I think it's good that, people are starting to quarantine themselves and be more responsible. I mean, I essentially do that anyways. I don't really interact with people anyway. So
I don't want to interact with anyone, and yet I have to go into my job and interact with these elderly people where I don't know if I've picked anything up. But
yeah. That being said, also guys, like, don't be too scared. You can just,
be reasonable. Don't
be
panic.
reasonable. You see a lot of people going to the stores and buying everything, and
so dumb.
It's just like be cautious of what you're doing. Like, yes, it's serious, but there's no need to be uncivil or like riot. Just wash your hands, avoid people who are sick, don't touch your fucking face. Those are good things to live by right there.
My boss's children, who are in their 30s, both went out shopping a couple of days ago, and they were trying to get just some essentials and stuff. But everyone had bought everything, so they were like, I don't know what to do. So they just kept going to different stores. And then they came back and said, like, what's up to my boss? And we're like, yeah, so since everything was out, we finally found a place that had some stuff. And because we don't want other people to just buy all of it, we bought all of it. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're the problem. That's what most people are thinking. It's like a couple of idiots that are like, yeah, we need to get this shit. Instead, oh my God, it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It is what it is. We can't do much about it. I mean, I got some toilet paper. Not like a lot. I just have the reasonable amount of pack that I always have.
You also got a bidet.
Yes, but I haven't installed it.
But you should.
Nah, fuck it. I'm glad I bought dog food before everything went crazy. Because apparently it's hard to get fucking any food for your pets. So hopefully it doesn't last, more than a month, because then I have to go back out there and try to find some more dog food.
Yeah, no, it'll all be fine. People just need to behave reasonably.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, who knows?
Yep.
Anyways, what anime have you been watching? Anything aside from Beastars?
Nothing, dude. Honestly,
what? Really?
I haven't. I tried to watch some of Azokin, and then I realized that I had to finish a couple episodes of Beastars because I wasn't done. I was like, oh, okay. And then when that happened, it's like, oh, I just kind of started getting back into like work mode, and then I was like, I guess no anime this week.
That's all good.
I watched a little bit of that weird scissors show that we were talking about. We were joking about.
Fuck, what is it?
7 Scissors or something like that.
On Netflix. Yeah.
I don't want to. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to actually like talk about it with you, like review it, because I'm not done with it.
Yeah.
And I still want to give it like a fair shake. It's interesting, like for me at least. Like I don't think it's because it's an anime. I mean, it's an animated show, but it's not from Japan. I think it's from China.
All right.
So the original dub isn't in Japanese; it's in Mandarin, I think.
Okay.
And so then I was like, all right, well, I don't really like the sound of like Mandarin. Like it's kind of harsh, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll go to English, and then the English dub is really not great. Like, especially, and it's not like it's not great as a whole. I think the biggest issue is the main character's English dub is pretty shit, and a lot of it has to do with, I think, just like a not the best understanding of the English language. Like, so it's like maybe it's that, and so I was like, okay, well, I still like what I'm visually seeing. What can I do? So I put it in Japanese, and I was like, oh, okay, I can fuck with this.
You fucking weeb.
Yeah. So,
that's hilarious. Holy shit.
So I put it in Japanese, and I was just like, and I was like flipping back through like all three of them, like original, Japanese, English, and trying to figure out like which one, and I think I settled on like, I like it the best in Japanese with the English subtitles, because cool. I don't mind what I'm hearing, because I hear it all the time with like other Japanese shows, and the subs are pretty solid. I was like, yeah. So I think I did a couple episodes. I'm down to keep doing some more, but visually, I really enjoy it. Like it's really stylized, and it's kind of silly. So I'm not done with it. I'm gonna give it a full chance and then come back to you on whether it's something like you should even watch.
I'm very intrigued.
Okay, cool.
No idea.
That's the only thing that's kind of reminiscent of anime that I watch besides Beastars.
Well, I watched the new Somali, and it was a backstory about her, like being found in the forest and hanging out with the golem at first. And it was really interesting, and it was really good. And it kept jumping back and forth between that and where they currently are, and they're kind of just staying in a home while he goes out and works and whatnot. And then the person who owns the place that they're staying swings by and is like, "Oh, hey, yeah, what's up?" And then smells Somali, and she like leaves quickly after and goes and says, "Hey, I found a human kid, so we finally get to eat human again." And then the episode ends. So it's just some more dark shit. It's always that like, oh man, lighthearted fun, kid and her dad who's a golem. And then it goes into like, oh shit, this is a really fucked up dark story. And oh my god, Somali's losing her first tooth. Oh, this is fun. And yeah, it's a great show. Love it. That's it. That's all.
That's it. You asshole. You ever heard me like, you didn't watch any anime? You only watched one anime. You fucking dick.
No, I haven't had any time. I'm really excited to have an anime that day, though, in the next couple of days here.
All right, man. Well, there's no need to beat around the bush. Let's just do the news and then get into Beastars.
Okie dokie. Okay, so we're going to take a moment of silence for a second here because the voice actress Tamaki Nakanishi passed away at age 44. She was in a lot of things like Fafnir and Pre-Tier, Memories Off, bunch of different stuff. So,
all right, for sure. Moment of silence. All right, man. You were saying we don't really know how she passed away, right? Like, it's kind of like
Japan has privacy laws that it prevents people from announcing like specific things that happened to somebody when they died for a certain period, I think, or until the family decides that it's okay or something like that.
That's nice. Yeah. I feel like that's like, maybe it was like, something, I don't know. Japanese people can be kind of weird when it comes to like their personal issue. Like maybe it's like, maybe the way she passed away is something they don't see very, I don't know.
That's also
maybe it's like embarrassing or something, even though it could be anything. Or maybe she was super sick and
they
no one knew.
It was due to illness, but they didn't say anything specific about it. So, yeah, and that could be any number of things. But it's weird when somebody's so young passes away, like 44 years old.
Yeah, It's a bummer. Yeah, she will be missed.
Yeah. And next up, Date Alive Season 4 has been announced. So we don't know who specifically is going to be working on it. Because different studios have gone bankrupt that have worked on it. So it's been like passed on to studio to studio to studio. So who knows who it's going to be this time, but
Season 4 is coming.
I think I watched like the first episode of Season 3 just to see what it was.
Is it bad?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
good luck for season 4.
A lot of people love it. It's just a harem anime, and it's got a lot of really strong harem stuff going on there. That's like exactly what you're looking for in a harem. So pretty cool. And next up, not really a lot of, like, we could go down and read every anime, but I don't have a breakdown of what each specifically is. Spring 2020 anime, there's like a pretty solid list out there, so I'm going to go ahead and link that in the episode description. And there's some good stuff coming out next season. People are really excited about Tower of God. I'm super excited about the new season of Ascendance of a Bookworm. And then there's we just watched My Romantic Comedy Snafu, and the new season's coming out in a couple of days here.
Oh, nice.
April 9th. And
Well,
then
we still got to finish.
It's coming
We
out
still
in
got to finish the
April.
second season.
Yeah, we got to finish the second one. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna. Not
Yo,
for me.
there's a new Yu-Gi-Oh season. It's called like Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, and it's got like stars in it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dog.
Hell yeah. And then we got Digimon Adventure as well.
Ooh,
That's
ooh,
happening.
Digimon, no one likes you.
Whoa, man. Be cool. Be cool. There's a lot of stuff that people are excited about. Probably most people are excited about Fruits Basket. I'm saying most people because I think there's probably a pretty good overlap of people that like it. I don't know, though. But
Yeah, for
Fruits
sure.
Basket Season 2 is coming around, so not a long wait from Season 1 to Season 2, which is cool.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Like, it looks like like there's a bunch of stuff that like I don't really know like on this photo, like things I haven't really heard of,
Yeah.
which is
Well-
good. I'm glad when we see things that like are new to me.
Like brand new animal.
Yeah.
BNA.
Yes. Cool. All right, man.
Kaguya-sama's coming out too, so whoop. Anyways, that's all the news. I don't have a lot of news, man. But
No,
that's
it's all good. All right, man. This week's topic, talking about Netflix's original Beastars.
It's true.
Is it theirs?
Well,
What does
the
the word
Netflix-
original mean?
yeah, it's Netflix exclusive for sure. I think it aired exclusively on Netflix when it was episode by episode in Japan. But the studio that made it is Studio Orange, and they've done a lot of stuff like Land of the Lustrous, of course, because very similar style, right? They've done Black Bullet, and they've done, let's find another good one on here, Dimension W. They've done some shit, dude. So,
Yeah, they have. I like the intro.
oh, I like the intro a lot, and I like the outro too, but they were very different.
I don't think I watched the outro.
What?
I think it did the thing where
The
like
whole
it skipped
fucking
it.
show? Yeah, it skips it, but you had the whole show to be like, I should check out this outro at least
I think
once.
I think I just forgot.
Oh my god, the outro was good. I liked
The intro
outro.
was really good, and it wasn't like good because like it was like the most memorable like song. The song
Really good animation.
The song gave me vibes of like what's it called, Kakaguri, like that kind of like that's like the same feelings like sound, like music style or whatever. But the intro is like it was like stop motion with like kind of what's that called, kind of like Fantastic Mr. Fox, Wes Anderson kind of style. And it was really cool. It was creepy, and then they did the dance number, and I was like, this is nice.
It was good. The outro was also really good. It had to do a lot with theater because that's a returning set in the show. So it starts with a theater, and then it kind of goes into a more like storybooky kind of like, these are the characters. You've got Legushi, who is our main character, the wolf on one side, and I'm gonna forget how to say his name, like Ruiz on the other side. Is that his name? The
Which
antler
one?
kid?
Oh, the Antler Kid. You watch yours in Japanese or watch your dub?
I watched it in Japanese.
I watched the dub.
Yeah.
So they kids called him Lewis.
Oh,
Yeah, Lewis.
yeah.
And then
That makes a lot of sense.
Lewis.
What was Legoshi's name?
Lagoshi.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like there's people who had like more like traditional, like the tiger was named Bill.
Yeah.
His dog friend was named Jack.
Yeah, that's what their names were.
Yeah, and like people like, and then the two main characters had more Japanese style names. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was her name?
Hana Haru or something like that. Yeah.
And Juno.
Juno was she was the other gray wolf.
And honestly, you guys, it goes to show like how interesting this show was because we remember their names.
Yeah, but the thing is also, I mean, I want to tell you something, Trip. I went a little above and beyond. I actually started reading the manga. Yeah,
I really, really want to after watching the show.
I've already caught up.
Really?
And I'll tell you. Yeah, well, it's not that much that the show covers actually.
So you started reading the manga where it goes like from where the show ends?
No, from where it starts. Because I wanted to see. So I wanted to see
if things were differences. Yeah,
if there's anything differences, and there was one huge difference that the show missed.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you. We'll go when we get to spoilers. I'll tell you about it. But the fact that they missed it doesn't really like ruin anything. It just, I was like, whoa, that was fucking wild that didn't happen. But I'll tell you. Yeah. Okay. So let's like you said, like usual, because this is a newer show. We're gonna talk about it for a bit, what we liked, without trying to spoil things, and then at the end we'll get to a point where we tell you we're gonna spoil it, and we can actually spoil it, and then you can. Plot. So it's your choice if you want to watch this or not. Yeah.
So it does have a 3D animation style, which has put us off of shows in the past
a lot.
But we've watched some shows and we've gotten used to good styles and bad styles of 3D animation. Like I really like the style of Dragon Quest, because it was so, or not of Dragon Quest, of Saint Seiya, because it was very Dragon Quest. They're like literally the same animation.
I'm sorry. That's really funny. I was just like, just you saying Saint Seiya, like, and you being positive about it, is like, oh yeah, okay, that's right. The thing he hated did have a shining moment. Like it didn't look that bad. Yeah,
the animation was very unique. It looked like a video game. It looks a lot like the new Pokemon movie, the Mewtwo Strikes Back remake.
Well, I think. Well, I didn't see that movie. I just saw the title card. I think that shit looks fucking ugly.
It looks exactly the same as Saint Seiya.
No, I think it's more stylized. I feel like
it is. Their eyes are like their faces are, but the animation.
Oh yeah, for sure. It gives me,
has that same roundness and smoothness to everything, that fluidity. But
Saint Seiya and what was the other one you mentioned? The Dragon Quest movie, the stuff, because they have a movie, right? It gives me vibes of like, remember like the intro cutscene to like the new Smash Bros movie, game, kind of like that, right? Like it's like everything's textured, everything's like, it feels like they're solid, but they also look like smooth and clean and stuff, and it's nice. It's not, So that.
Anyways, we're those kinds of things we like and we're used to, and then there's other animation which we don't like as much, like Baki and King and Ashura have 3D animation that is also very stylized but very different looking than what. What are you fucking doing?
Why I'm rolling my eyes? Why do you always talk such shit about King and Ashura and Baki? You know those shows fucking rock, dog.
I hate this so much.
They're so good. Oh my God. No. Okay, so I think the first show that has like full 3D animation that for sure turned me towards this was when you forced me to watch
Land of the Lustrous.
Land of the Lustrous, yeah. Because I really hated that first episode.
Oh, and I was like, man, it was so bad. Like it was completely not my style. At all. I was like, well, there's some cool, interesting things, but the animation fucking ugh. And then by the end of watching the first season, it's really good.
Yeah.
And this is made by the same studio.
Yeah, I think I got really used to it. So just to like kind of like how quickly it took me to get used to this one, like the 3D animation.
It was way faster.
Like almost instant. Like the show starts, I'm like, it's 3D animation. And then there's a bit where the character is in the dark, like, and like they do a really cool thing of how they like how they light him and stuff. And I was like, this is fucking dope.
They did so many cool overlays, and they did a lot of cool like lighting effects and coloring and just changing the way the character looked.
They also had those moments where like it went to real traditional anime, like, you know, like they had those faces that you see, and like they replicated them very well in this 3D environment. And I don't think I ever really felt out of place. I was like, you know what? Usually stuff like that, usually when they do like a big like big old sweat spot, or like the big old like angry thing on their, like, I'm really kind of over them. I think when I was younger I enjoyed it more, but usually they kind of turned me off. But now I'm just like, oh man, like that was done really well, and I really enjoyed it.
It really impressed me with a lot of the animation throughout it. I at the beginning noticed that whenever characters were talking, whenever there was dialogue, the animation wasn't as clean.
And I think it's because like lip syncing with 3D models is very tough.
Yeah, you specifically like have to go in and change the shapes and stuff. Unless,
and then in like 2D animation, I think it's more forgivable. But what they did do a lot of smart things where like dialogue was sometimes said, but you wouldn't see like their mouths or lips were cut out of the screen,
or it was like in their head or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well done. But yeah,
honestly, I didn't notice it for the most part, but it's fine because where like they could have spent more time and energy on that. The dialogue was always really well written, so it didn't need that animation to back it up. And then on top of that, it felt like a lot of their budget went towards these, I want to call them action sequences, but I mean like moments of like characters doing unique movements. Is like, because there were a lot of different situations, whether it was just like dancing or sword practice for a play
or an actual fist fight,
or an actual fight. And like it starts off at the beginning and you're seeing it and you're like, okay, this is an all right style, I'm kind of into it. And then as soon as it gets to the big like very opening reveal of essentially the plot of the show, by the way, you guys, is it's a like specific character's story taking place in a school in this world where there are animal people. Half of them are herbivores, the other half are carnivores, and there's some tension because a student in this private school is killed by a carnivore,
devoured, like he's eaten alive. Yep. And in this world, imagine it very like it's like a more realistic, like grittier version of like Zootopia, like
it has big Zootopia vibes.
It's like these two different and they're, a bunch of different species, but these two different groups, right? Herbivores, carnivores, and in this world eating meat is essentially illegal or very frowned, like it's bad, like you're not supposed to do it. So I really like this because I feel like in Zootopia it wasn't as serious. I feel like in Zootopia it was kind of, we were led to believe that these animals have evolved to the point where their animal instincts were no longer like an issue, and that the big plot there was that someone was like making them become ravenous. In this one, people's animal instincts is a big issue. Like they have to, a lot of them still have to fight back their urges to like kill something. I think
that has to do with like the age that they are, though. Like teenagers have to deal with that a lot, and then as adults you learn to deal with it, but a way that a lot of adults deal with that isn't exactly the most like productive to society.
Yeah, exactly. So this one felt like it was, I really enjoyed it. Like I felt like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I really enjoyed Zootopia when I watched it. That was a great movie. So this one I was like, oh cool, it's like Zootopia, and I was like, oh, it's like a way better version of Zootopia.
Sorry Disney, like it's really good, but
it is very good.
It's mature audiences for nudity and smoking, which cracked me up.
Yeah, like, exactly. I was like, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see these fuckers smoke. They better fucking smoke. And I was like, oh, fucking nudity again? Lame.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because it handles these very adult topics in a teenage setting, and because they're like animal people, I feel like it was able to do it without it being as big of a taboo as it normally would be in Japan, right?
Yeah, because okay, so here's a big thing. So like you did say like the beginning part of like, it's about this very recently a student has been devoured by another student and no one knows. It's like it's a murder essentially. So in our world that would have been a murder. Like one student murdered another student.
It would have been like crazy murder though. It's like a serial killer type murder.
Super violent. And the thing that's wild is that I was it took me a while to be like, okay, was no one seemed to, it was a big deal. But school kind of kept going.
It was like a big deal for an episode.
Yeah, and then life kind of kept happening, and they didn't talk about it, I feel like, until way later in the season. And I was just like, yo, hold on. I know he was just a dumb llama, but someone killed this guy on school fucking property.
I think it explained it in the second or third episode, and maybe you missed that. it's the most taboo act in that world. So even just talking about it makes people insanely uncomfortable. So even though this thing happened, they're all aware of it, but it's such a fucking insane thing that nobody will talk about it.
Yeah, but it's so crazy that like if that were like a real school and this like in a real setting, they'd be like, cool, school's closed, fucking everybody's going to new schools because someone got murdered here. Yeah. Like that's not something it takes, you know, you don't talk about for a bit. Like if someone were to die at, you know, Chico State or whatever, not die. If someone were to kill someone else at Chico State, within like that same week, classes would be canceled. There'd be huge investigations. It would take a very long time. There would be like posters all over the wall being like, hey, do you need help? Do you need to talk to somebody? Like emotional support. It would be a huge ordeal. There it was just like, hey, we're not supposed to talk about people eating people. So, oh well. And like the biggest deal was too, is he's like, we got to fucking recast Tam's role. Someone's got to be the fucking, that character in the fucking play. And I was like, all right, come on. But this is a very dramatized world. Everything's super very dramatic.
I agree. There are definitely some things that I didn't like so much about it, but I loved the show so much. It was such a good time, and I think that Orange is picking up these really unique shows. And I don't know if they're ever going to get around to Land of Lustrous season 2. I would love to see it, but I feel like the fact that it's on Netflix is going to make it such a big thing.
Would you happen to know, because you know we know that this premiere aired a while back, right? We just now got it.
Yeah.
Do you know if this is one of those shows where like they did all 24 episodes or whatever and we just didn't get them all, or they only did 12 and we're going to get 12?
That's it. At the end
they only did the 12. Okay.
Yeah. If you saw the end, it says like season 2 coming soon.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if it was like kind of like a Carol and Tuesday kind of bit where it's just like we've watched the first 12 episodes and we were kind of like waiting, and they go, yeah, wait a few months, the next bit's gonna come out.
Yeah, I think they called it part 2.
Oh, did they?
I think. I don't know, but I remember there being something about it where I was like, yeah, okay. And this one felt like more definitive.
Like, hey, this is the end of the first season. Let's go to the next season. Yeah, I for sure enjoyed the show. There were parts where, like I said, like where I was like, meh, I don't know if I believe that. But there's a lot of parts where it's like, when I stop caring about them, like this is fucking dope. Like there's a lot of drama elements. There's a lot of like funny moments. There's like these like really well done like just like dialogue and you know between other characters and the situations that they're put in, and
they handled them very well.
Yeah, and I'm usually not the biggest fan of when the main character's such like a gloomy Gus or a whiny bitch.
It worked in this one though.
And in this one I'm like, I get it, man. Like you're like he's 17, he's doesn't know how to deal with the fact that he's like, you know, a carnivore, and he's very big and strong, and he has to act very meek, and he just kind of, people are scared of him, and even though he's a nice guy, there's like a lot of things that aren't really in his favor. So he's like, the best thing I can do is just kind of be this sulk, you know?
Yeah. And other people own the fact that they're a carnivore, and they really like
rubbing people's faces.
Yeah, exactly. They're changing like how they interact with people in a way where they're just like, yeah, I'm big and strong and confident, and that's who I am because that's what carnivores are, and then everyone's okay with it. Versus him, who's like, I want to make sure that like I'm on the same level as all of these herbivores.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's like, I want to make people not feel uncomfortable, and most people seem to not care. They just kind of write him off as being weird, or as opposed to like one of the other main characters, Lewis, it's just like really fucking takes offense to it, and it's just like, fuck you, you're a wolf. Stop pretending you're not a wolf. Be strong and powerful, because he's a deer, right? And he's like, if I could be strong and powerful like you know, I fucking would, but I'm not. Yeah. So I have to put on this fucking persona or whatever.
I honestly think this is a show for most people, for most like anime watchers, at least. It's really interesting, and they did such a good job. They have like drama and action in there, and that's essentially like the two elements, right? They got a little bit more than that, but
don't forget about the love. We didn't mention this, but like
love.
A big part of it is also, you know, our main character falling in love with a very small herbivore, which is a bunny rabbit, right? Like a dwarf rabbit. And he has to learn how to deal with this. Like he's in love with somebody that he's not supposed to be in love with because of like the species that he is, like
Yeah.
so it's like he's learning to deal with that. And she's an interesting character too.
I really like her.
She's very like strong, I guess, in a way. Like she is physically a small creature, and people always look down on her or like pity her because like, oh, you're weak, let me save you, and she like really fucking hates that. Like even her family, like there's a bit where like her family tells her like, hey, you're a dwarf rabbit, life's gonna be hard because at any second anybody can fucking eat you. So just and I think she's learned to be like, fuck that, I'm gonna cherish my life and live my life to the fullest. And a lot of people don't agree with the way she does things, but I really like, I totally give her props for her being the biggest slut she can be.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we're getting into spoiler stuff now.
Yeah, we'll get into the spoilers.
That whole thing was spoilers, Juan.
It's all right. No, it wasn't. I didn't tell you who she fucked. She fucked everybody, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so all in all, I feel like Beastars is a great show. I already recommended it to somebody.
Yeah,
they texted me like, hey, what should I watch? It's like, you should watch this. And they go, well, I like it. I was like, if you're a fucking person, yeah, like I don't like.
Yeah, it's really good and it's new.
Yeah, like again, the biggest things that people might have to get over is like the way it visually looks. But in the case of other 3D animations, I feel like this is a very well done 3D animation.
Yeah.
For anime. So give it a shot. If it's not for you, just visually, like, sorry. I mean, the manga also doesn't have like the most traditional style of art.
Yeah.
So like when I was reading it, I was like, it looks kind of at least for the first chapter, it felt very like Mob Psycho kind of.
Yeah. I like the way that it looks. Yeah, it's very cool.
It was almost like kind of like ugly.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, it kind of has like a weird charm to it, like the way everything's drawn. So it's very interesting that like that's the art style it is, and they moved it to 3D. And I go, somehow they captured very well like what the essence of the manga is in 3D animation. So all in all, I'm for it. I think it's a great show. I'm excited for season 2 whenever it comes out.
And the music went along with the show so well. Like sometimes music really takes you out of it, or it'll like set the scene in a way that it shouldn't. The whole time I felt like it was just improving everything, and it really set the tone appropriately. There was never a time where you noticed the music more than others. Like sometimes, it'll be like, oh man, this is the hero song or something. It's like, don't lose your way. This is none of that shit. This is just like very, very, this is a drama. These are the songs that are playing in the background, and they're really setting tone. And I appreciated that about the show. Fantastic soundtrack. Also really good sound effects. Like I felt like hits contacted each other. They made that connection, that real visceral like feeling between all of the sound effects, whether it's just like regular old walking, tossing something somewhere, like everything sounded so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the show was like firing on all cylinders. It was very, very cool to see it.
I think the MA rating, I'm trying to decide whether it's like appropriate because it has like they wrote nudity and smoking. I feel like the violence level was at points pretty violent. So like I feel like it was, I don't know if it's apt. I don't know if it's like, would you say like the amount of nudity that we saw gives it the MA rating? No. I mean, I don't think.
No, not at all. Yeah, definitely PG-13 type thing, or TV-14 or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, it's not for little kids. Obviously, it's not for children. But if you're like a teenager, yeah, I think this should be fine for you to watch. Like, I mean, again, I'm not your dad or mom to tell you, well, go ahead and watch this. But I just think
talk about sex, and that's pretty much the most like
taboo thing,
I guess. Yeah, because all the violence in it felt none of it felt real, I guess is what it is. So then just the topic of sex and the conversation about it, I think that was a lot more real than actually seeing what was going on, Yeah,
no, I agree. So yeah, maybe the MA rating is a little harsh. Yeah. So if that's hopefully it doesn't deter too many people. Maybe Netflix was just trying to be like,
honestly, if they said like sexual content instead of nudity, I would be more into like that being the correct rating. But they didn't even put that as a factor, and they just put nudity, but we didn't see any like real nudity. We knew that characters were naked, but that doesn't mean that we saw anything.
Like there wasn't like a stray nipple here or anything, or we didn't see anybody's penis or anything or anything like that.
There wasn't even like any ass really.
No,
it's like side shots.
I mean, so I hope. I mean, like I said, maybe Netflix gave it the MA rating because it's like, well, we are like a family company, and like they're just trying to protect themselves.
They're
and
like, ooh,
for
cool.
whatever reason.
I like the wolf. I want to watch, or like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. We can start talking about like the spoily bits, and I can tell you that the bit that they missed in the manga. That was like super.
Let's
crazy
get into
dope.
spoily stuff. Please go and watch this show.
It's on Netflix. Check it out.
It's for almost every anime fan out there.
Yeah, I agree.
So when I first started this show, didn't expect to like it whatsoever. I knew there was a lot of hype about it, but that doesn't mean shit normally. And then when I did find out that it was like more of a 3D style, I'm like, well, I'm gonna handle it, but I don't know how well I'm gonna handle it. Mm-hmm. They did such a good job, man. It was like from the first minute of starting it, I realized, I'm going to like this. I don't know if it's going to be great, but I'm going to like this just based off of the animation and the sound.
I didn't really like know what I was getting into like when I started playing it, because I was like,
not at all.
I'd seen like promotional images for Beastars. Kind of popping up here and there.
I didn't know anything about the plot. I'm like, I don't know if this is a fighting anime. I don't know if this is going to be more of like a drama or school.
When I saw like the images, and I was like, I just kind of, for some reason in my head assumed like, it's kind of like, I thought it was gonna be like a weird like noir detective kind of like period piece thing because of like the clothes they were wearing.
No idea how old they are.
Exactly.
If he has suspenders.
Yeah, exactly. What 17-year-old boys wear suspenders in pinstripe pants? And then once the show starts and like, we find out that they're in a school, and I go, okay, cool, they're in a school. I thought university, right? And then a little more information came. I was like, are these fuckers in high school? Like, I was like, oh, okay. And the big issue is because of like, there's so many different animals in the show and their size vary so much. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I liked. They were just like, "Hey, I'm a senior, motherfucker," and like,
and it's like a tiny little squirrel.
I'm a junior. My bad.
There's some pretty interesting little animals in the show. I was just like,
I did really like the size discrepancy. And
yeah,
rodents having to stick to the sides of the walls. Yeah, very cool.
In the manga, they do a bit where like there's like like the bonus information and stuff, and they were talking about like common practice, like when you're around people, and they say like small creatures have the right of way, so big creatures are always supposed to stop. The small creatures get to go first. Also, like the utilities, like in the buildings, like there's varying sizes of everything. Like there's various sizes of the doors, like urinals. Like they'll
I was thinking that like stalls and stuff.
There's really small ones. There's very big ones. They have like different size tables and shit.
And different size plates and
what else was a good thing? And they talked about like sometimes when a smaller creature is going somewhere, if they ask politely, it's polite for a larger creature to give them a ride. Like, so like in the image they showed like a little small like field mouse. Like, how was it a field mouse? He was some sort of like furry critter. He's like running, and he's like, "Hey, can you give me a lift to the library?" And he goes like, and the big elephant's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm heading that way. Come on!" And like picks him up. And I was like, "Oh, it's real cool. It's really nice of them." Also, it was in the manga. There's a bit where they give more little details about like the main character and his like roommates. They're all kind of. Not all of them are wolves, but they're all of the same like
like canine.
Yeah, canine-ish, species. Like, so there's like a dog, him, a wolf. There's a couple
jackal?
dogs.
Yeah.
There's a hyena.
Okay, yeah.
There's one of those really small foxes that have the really big ears.
Okay, yeah.
And then I think there's
but that's a vulpine, so that's a little bit different. But yeah,
and like they're all hanging out, and they're like, I
think it's still Canidae. Is that?
I think that's the the species, like the Canidae room and whatever, and like people kind of. Even within like their own groups, people think this group is also even weirder. They're like, yo, like, I know that you guys are the same familia as like, or like, animal families, like, but maybe you should stick to more like hanging out with dogs. And the guy, Jack is like the name of the lab. He's just like, nah, I've known this guy since he was a pup. my family and his family are neighbors. Like, we're pretty cool. We're dope. And then when he finds like porn on him,
Yeah, when he found porn on Legushi,
he's just like, oh my God, I don't even know this guy anymore.
It's so great.
Yeah. So let's see. How can we talk about things that happen that are really big and spoilies? So,
well, I mean, it starts out where we don't really know what the plot is. We just know that a character, or maybe not even a character, just somebody killed an herbivore, and a carnivore killed an herbivore, and that our main character is having these carnivorous urges, and he immediately goes and attacks the first lone herbivore. Like, after all of this is kind of coming up, he smells her, he attacks her, and that's the bunny.
Yeah, and he stops himself from eating her. Yeah,
and then they like both go their own ways, and our main character works behind the scenes on plays and stuff. So he's going to go and try to get some flowers, and he's kind of talked about this bunny or heard about her or something. So his buddy that also works in the same department, they're going together, and then he's like, oh man, like he's all nervous about this girl. He like clearly likes her. I'm going to peace out. And Legushi has to face the bunny that he attacked.
Yeah.
And then she is just like, hey, what's going on? Like, whatever. Oh, yeah, I don't really know what happened, but whatever. And she has like a big old wound on her arm that's covered up. And then they're talking like normal, and he feels really bad about it, but he also finds himself being like attracted to her. And then they develop this kind of relationship through that builds, and he's trying to find a way for him to confess these, like what happened to her, while also dealing with his feelings and figuring out if that's something he wants to tell her about, or if he wants to get rid of that, or whatever it is. And it just develops more and more, and it's a really interesting love story.
I think the bit that's like really like great about like him falling for her, you know, it's like at first it's like he doesn't really know what's going on, and then he starts realizing he's like, oh, I'm kind of like happy, you know, and it's one of those things where like someone like himself who doesn't really seem to have a lot of joy starts feeling differently, and he's like, what can this be? And it's like, oh, he must like her, and like he doesn't know how to kind of continue because, well, he's not supposed to like her. He's, you know, he
never expected to like an herbivore, especially one that's like half of his size, like,
or one that like
half,
or one that he tried to eat, you know. So like, so it is that weird, you know, issue that he's having of like,
which is such a unique thing. Like that's something that as humans we would never be able to relate to. So it's cool to see how it would play out, and I think they do a really good job at handling it.
Yeah, I think the biggest, like the closest thing you could probably like connected to was like maybe two people of different like ethnicities or races like trying to like, you know, falling for each other and having to learn maybe like, oh, okay, culturally this is what you do, you know, kind of like our friend Austin, who like he married this girl from China, and he's like just like a white dude, so he's learned how to know a lot of things of like between like, I'm assuming how to, you know, accept her culture and her accept his culture. So that must have been like the closest we can get to it, but it's never going to be like to the point of like Austin is fighting these instincts to murder this person that he loves, you know, like,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we'll never understand that. And but so there's a lot of times where I'm sitting there and be like, wow, that must be really tough. Like, it's not that he wants to eat this person, like his body is telling him to eat her, and then there's points where like even herself, her body is telling her to run away from him
because she's just like natural instincts. It was like, really cool when they were having lunch for the first time together, and she kept kicking her leg every time that he would take a bite because she's having this like weird PTSD, and her body's just like, get away, those are fangs, get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy. And very like cool. even fast forward to even further when they're like spending the night together, and they're getting romantic with each other, and they're like going to start kissing and stuff, and she tries like to force herself into his mouth, and I was just like, oh, that's wild, because her animal instincts are like, well, I'm gonna die, I might as well die, like make it as soon as possible, that way it's painless as possible, right? And I was just like, that's crazy. And she's just like, they stop what they're doing, and she's just like apologizes, and she goes, I've never felt that before, like my body's just told me go into his mouth. I was like, that is fucking nuts.
And we never get to explore much of that because the show essentially ends right after. I'm so interested. I want to watch season 2 so bad, and I'm sure that that's why you read the manga right away, is because you're just like, well, and I want to as well. I don't think that I will, because I just kind of want to, like, I did that with Land of the Lustrous. I know that we're getting a season 2 of this, so I'm just gonna wait for it because I like it a lot.
Well, the thing is, I think I stopped myself from doing this with was it The Promised Neverland? You know,
Okay,
I really want to know what happens.
I was getting into it beforehand.
Yeah,
and
but
so you already had that, like, do I wanna? And then yeah.
So I decided not to with that one. And then with this, the thing I noticed is that I've caught up with like My Hero. Yeah. So it is very, now I'm just kind of, I feel like there's a lot of waiting, like more waiting. Yeah. But with this one, I go, okay, well, I really like the story. I'd like to see where it continues. I know season 2 is coming. But there's a lot of chapters out there. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Might as well start reading it. Cause like I need something to read. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue. There was some crazy shit, like some wild stuff. Like there's the bit, okay, so the bit that we missed, in the manga. Yeah. Okay. So, cause honestly, almost like pretty solid, like very accurate, very truthful to source material.
That's cool.
But there's a part where Bill and Lewis are like play fighting, right? And like he gets cut in the hand. Right. Remember that? Like he gets cut in the hand. And then nothing really comes of that, right? Like Lewis just kind of bandages up, and it's like one of those scenes where it's almost like a montage is happening, like we just see snippets of things happening. Right. So what happens there? And I'm pretty sure this wasn't in the show. Bill tells Lewis like, "Hey, Lewis is like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the infirmary." And Bill's like, No. Let me patch you up. Like, well, there's a first aid kit in the other room. Like, I'll patch you up. And he's like, all right, if you insist. And so Bill's there helping him patch him up. And this is after they've already gone to the black market, you know, after, they've had the encounter with the man selling his fingers. And
which was fucked up. Like when I first saw that, I was like, holy fuck, this is not messing around anymore, boys.
And, our main characters met the panda and they've talked to him about, his urges and like what he does about like having to help people like not eat other herbivores. So Bill is talking to Lewis, and he kind of says to him, hey, I was at the black market the other day and I found out about your past and I know who you are, right? Because Lewis has this past where he was at one point like essentially produce, like he was going to be eaten in the black market. And so Bill is like flexing on Lewis, just being like, yeah, man, like if you don't fucking like, he's like essentially checking him like I could tell everybody, and then it's gonna be so much harder for you to be a Beastar. I guess we should have explained what a Beastar was earlier.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the show is that it's called Beastars. And it's just about whoever the like prom king is, essentially.
Well, so I think
it's more than that, clearly.
Yeah, the manga does a better job of explaining it, but essentially like what a Beastar is someone who like it's not like they're
like a representative.
Like, yeah, kind of. It's just like it's like it's like people looking for people who are going to be in the future people of like note. Like the Beastars can be like politicians, athletes, celebrities. So like it sets you up to be someone great that people look up to. And so, Lewis wants to be the next Beastar, right? Like this herbivore that goes out and takes care of people and whatever, because of his traumatic back story. So anyways, Bill's like flexing on him and being like, hey, you should check yourself, I know who you are. And he's like, I think he at one point is like even gonna like, he's like gonna physically hurt Lewis, and Lewis pulls a fucking gun on him. Like he just has a gun, and he puts it to the back of fucking Bill's head. He's like, I'll blow your fucking brains out, dog.
Jesus.
Like he's like, you don't know who the fuck I am. He's like, yeah, there's plenty of people like you out in the world who are like, because you're a carnivore, you think you're fucking better than us or whatever. It's like, but I have this thing in my hand that makes us equal. If anything, I could just fucking kill you right now. And then he's like, you don't fucking tell anybody what you know. It's like, keep your mouth shut. And then he walks away, and he's like, I'm going to the infirmary to get this patched up. And then I think Lewis is like, there's like blood on the ground. He's like, clean this shit up. And so like Bill's just like laying on the ground, just like shivering. And I was like, oh my God, like that didn't happen in the show, did it? That's fucking wild.
Then in the manga, did Lewis fight, or not Lewis, did Legoshi fight Bill on stage during the play?
They did. Yeah, that happened also. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. And then, so after all of that shit, then Lewis still steps in and is like, hey, fuckers, get up, clean this shit up.
Well, the thing is, okay, so the play happens before they do the black market bit, which is this happened before because
and
Lewis,
they're like, we're all fine.
Yeah, because they're getting ready for the Meteor Festival or whatever. So yeah, it is wild, and it's also I don't know. I don't think it was confirmed in the show, but in the manga, it's for sure stated that Bill did pay that man to eat his finger. So like he for sure partook in it. Like because at one point he says something like, "Yo, after eating at the black market, like he goes like I feel like a lot more confident now that I've had the flesh." So like Bill's a fucked up guy. Like and maybe it's like that's like not fair to say, but Bill is one of those people who is more into leaning into the idea that he's a carnivore. This is who he is. He's better and stronger than anybody else. So I don't know. That was one thing that was different in the manga than the show.
But dude to eat the fucking finger, crazy.
But I understand why they cut it out because like having it there doesn't really change anything too much, No. It doesn't like add anything too crazy, but it does kind of let you know that Lewis has a gun. So in the later half when Lewis comes to help, and he fights the lion boss or whatever, and he has that gun. I was just kind of led to believe like, I must have picked it up on the way in, right?
That's the way I felt about it.
That's how I felt.
No, that was his gun.
But I was like, he just had his gun on him, and he was very like nonchalant about it. But I think maybe it's like his upbringing or whatever. And at the end of where the show ends, we don't know the status of where he is, right? I haven't gotten specifically to that part of the manga yet. I'm like a few chapters. I haven't caught up completely, right? But I do want to know what happens to him, and I'm curious to see like.
That's one of the things that I'm most curious about too. There are a few things that I'm curious about that the show leaves you with as cliffhangers, and I don't appreciate that the show did that. I would be okay if there was like one ongoing storyline that isn't finished, and it's like, hey, there's going to be a season 2, don't worry. But instead, it's like, hey, remember the first storyline that was never finished? Yeah, season 2 is going to address that, and I'm like. Cool, but now we have like a bunch more relationships and a bunch more like B-star type shit, and where the fuck is Lewis and what's going on with all this,
and who the fuck killed Lem? There's it didn't do the thing where like, hey, you want a bunch of fucking answers? Cool, here's a bunch of questions. Go fuck yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh man, like I get that we could wait until season 2 and all that's going to be there, but it doesn't feel as good to finish. Watching it when you have so many questions, and that season 2 is so far away. So anyways, I was left wanting to read the manga, and I'm like, nope, not for me. Show's good.
I think because like the art style is so weird in the manga, I'm kind of okay with me reading ahead because it's like I'm gonna be able to see it in this really artistic way that I like. But then I'm going to get to see season 2 in a 3D animation, and I go, it's also another interesting. Like, I want to see how they interpret things over, and like, oh, cool, that's how they did that. Like, there's a bit where he's like going like aggro or whatever, where he's like gonna eat the rabbit for the first time, and we see that weird like figure kind of coming his way,
Right.
It was really cool how they did it in both the manga and
cool.
in the show. And there's the bits where like he gets super mad and like he kind of like looks like he's like on fire, and like his veins are like. Popping and stuff, and it's like it's very well done. So I think I'm okay with knowing like more information and like reading ahead. Because I do get to come back and actually see them visually, like how they are gonna.
That makes sense.
Recreate that. It would be a bummer if like I'm reading the manga and they cut out something important, because like I know that they can cut stuff out. So if they cut something out that I really like and they put it in the anime and I go, fuck, they did the thing, and now I'm upset because they cut that one little bit thing out and now people don't know or whatever, Yeah,
I mean, I would have had no idea that Lewis had a gun. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, he just pulls out a gun, he puts Bill in his place and he walks away and he just like very casually puts it in his back pocket. I was like, you were just in drama class, dog. Like you were
that shit with you the whole time.
You were just practicing your dance number and you just strapped. So fucking the
crazy.
future Beastar always has that thing on him. He's always ready to fucking pop off.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Also, how creepy is it the mayor is a lion, got his fangs removed and put dentures in.
Pretty cool though.
And he had like surgery done to make him look more like
innocent.
It was because I remember seeing him in the show and I was just like, he looks a little weird for a lion. And then they explain like, oh, he's done all this surgery and like he's got his teeth removed. And in the manga, he looks I think like even more creepy. Almost a little like towards like the bit of like he kind of like almost human, you know. And I go,
okay, yeah,
ugh, that's but not that far. But I'm saying like I feel like it's more pushed in the manga, and I'm just like, oh, like
very interesting.
What a dedication to be like, I'm a lion and I want people to fucking follow me, so I'm gonna do this surgery and remove my fangs and have these dentures. It's like, oh, is that what it means to be a Beastar? Because if that's the case, I'd rather be a fucking stagehand and fucking do the lights. I don't know, man. It was a good time.
It was. Another thing that I like is that we've talked about all these characters, but we haven't talked another major one. I really like Juno. I think that she's a super interesting character that they introduced kind of at a weird time, and then they don't follow up with her a ton because there are other stories that are going on that we need to address. But Juno comes in, and she's this girl that's being kind of like bullied by these other people. And Legoshi steps in last minute, and he's just like, hey, like, back off. Quit being a dick. Like, we're all homies, right? And she's just like, oh, man, thank you so much, Wolf Senpai, because they're, like, both working in theater. He's just backstage, and she's on the fucking stage. So she already knows who he is, but he doesn't pay a lot of attention to who she is. And then they have this relationship where she kind of falls for him, and she has motives that we didn't initially know. So she just seems like this sweet girl. And as they unveil more and more about her, she has some motives to show that canines, and not just canines, carnivores they're these people that are really strong and really capable that have been put in such a dark light that you can see like how good carnivores are versus the herbivores and the taboo that's like out there about all that. She wants to correct all of that, but it's a little bit misled. So she wants to become the new Beastar. She's very pretty, she's very talented, she can speak well, so she intimidates a lot of girls. That's why she was being bullied in the first place. But of course we don't know that initially.
I think really like no, I like Juno too. I think at first I wasn't into her character because I thought she was just gonna be like
she was just gonna be the one that gets left out of the love triangle.
Oh yeah, I thought she was gonna be even more than that. Like she kind of gave me vibes of being like that new love interest that is obviously in love with the main character, but kind of like to an obsessive level, kind of being like, I'm gonna I'm gonna hurt people or whatever, you know, because it makes it feel like she's gonna kill the bunny to be like, stay away from my man. But I love that scene when she's like does confront her and she like lets her know like it's like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking eat you, like, you know. It's like she's almost on like a different, like again, like a different level, like on the level of a Lewis being like, I'm gonna better things, but in the way that I think they need to be better for my people, essentially, right? Because it is, you know, it is the idea of making the world, I guess, more appropriate for whatever side you're on is like an honorable thing, right? But then at the same time, you're also got to be like, well, if I'm doing this to better my people, that means someone might have to suffer. So which is the other side, right? Kind of like what's her face? Kind of like in Zootopia when the mayor's assistant was doing this horrible thing, but in her eyes justified. So I think Juno is very calculated.
She's really interesting.
And at first I didn't think she was going to be that. At first I thought she was going to be like a psycho, you know, fucking girlfriend or stalker kind of vibes. And I thought that maybe the main character...
Was it her and Bill were doing a stage thing?
No, her and Lewis were doing like a... Like they were dancing and then she like pins him down and like explains to him like, hey, here's the situation. Like she declares war. She's like, but yeah, she's got a lot of things going for her. And
really interesting character. I was like, I really liked her at first because I'm like, I want to see where she goes. And then the point that it gets to at the end where she's just like using Legoshi essentially, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't fucking like her, but they did such a good job writing her. Holy shit, like fuck her. But I could also see people being on her side as well. So I don't know.
You know who else I really like too is like just a split bit. Was the chicken that was laying her eggs.
Yeah, what the fuck was up with that? Like, I don't know, 5-second bit.
It was just like this, like they introduced a new character and she's just like, oh, I've noticed this other wolf. He's kind of like annoying fucking douche.
Yeah.
But he likes the egg salad on Wednesdays and those are my eggs. And she's very prideful about her eggs. I don't know.
So weird.
It was like, it felt like a break from like all the like the seriousness of the drama. And it was just kind of silly and fun.
But it was
and
like the only time.
Yeah. And it also happened in the manga. And I was like, wow, what a cool thing they added. And it's like, there are more characters than just these people in the drama club. I thought it was fun. It wasn't.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It wasn't necessary, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was like interesting.
And that's what I think the show does well, is they make every character that's introduced in every situation interesting in its own way. They do such a good job at just that little character that's only there for a few minutes, at showing what she's all about and showing the way that she looks at the world. It's really interesting. They do such a good job at making these characters seem like there is a whole world that's revolving around them. And they're each living their individual lives.
And they say, I don't think we talked about it too much, but Haru gets kidnapped by like a group of like lions or whatever.
Yeah, at the end she gets kidnapped by the Shishigumi or something like that.
Yeah, like some evil organization that like eat herbivores.
Yeah.
And our main character goes and saves her with the help of the panda, and he fucking wrecks shit.
Yeah,
it was so violent.
It was cool to watch.
It was really cool. And then Lewis comes in and kills the fucking head with his gun.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so cool. I expected him to be there. For some reason I expected someone was going to come and intervene and not let our main character get hurt.
I didn't expect him to have a goddamn gun.
I didn't expect him to have a gun, and I didn't expect him to murder him in cold blood. Like, just like blow his fucking brains out.
Yeah.
After shoving the gun in his mouth, like a full-grown lion.
Yeah.
So that shit was like wild. Like, like in the context of this like crazy story, like that felt like the peak of the roller coaster. I was like, oh my God, like this is it. Like, this is insane. And then, there's like the love scenes, and like it all kind of levels out by the end. And at the very end they do like the where's Lewis, who's using the pills to the fucking, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Season 2. Because
people bust in on him, like a bunch of lions come in and he's like, hey, eat everything but leave my antlers.
Yeah. And I go, or you shoot him, Lewis. you seem pretty good with the gun. I don't know what you're doing, man.
So weird.
What else was I going to say? Okay, so since you watched it Japanese, the original audio.
It was just fantastic, yeah.
The dub was really good.
I was kind of expecting that for this.
Yeah, it was solid. Like, I looked at whoever the main character was. Like, because like his voice sounded very like, I don't know, familiar. And I was like, I wonder if I've seen him in something else. And I looked, and he's only done like 5 things, and I think like 3 of them were things that like were like video game related. One of them was a JoJo thing, and then one of them was like Baki or whatever. Not Baki. He was a character in Kengan Ashura.
Okay.
And I'm like, huh, so he's pretty new to the game, but I think like he nailed it. Like, he nailed that, like, I feel like that feeling of like the character with like I'm just kind of sad at points, and like it felt really good. And then the girl, Haru, her voice felt even more familiar, and I was like, who the fuck is this? And so then I went to her like audio page or whatever to find out who she was. She's done so many things. I was like, oh my God, what do I remember her from? But she's the little sister, like the little sister in Digimon.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Kairi. Yeah,
that's who she is. And I was like, oh, that makes. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm so glad I was able to.
She would be a good voice actress for that character. Yeah,
she killed it.
She's got kind of that nasally thing going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's really good. If you ever like want to watch Beastars and like you can't really pay too much attention, dude. Honestly, the English dub is solid. It's so fucking good. I really enjoyed it.
That's really good to know, because like
yeah,
you never know with dubs, and there's so much work that goes into it, and it really shows like which ones they were able to put more work into and more effort into like each scene. There was a Vanity Fair video that was very recent of the voice actress for Ash Ketchum and Ash's mom and like Pokemon and stuff, and she was doing a scene where she plays Ash that's like running up on the beach, and then he like comes and says like what's up to his mom, and then she's having this like discussion with herself, and they were just like cutting it in certain ways, and it was really cool to see them do it kind of like it wasn't exactly real time because she would stop it and explain things. I don't know if it was like quicker or shorter depending on the editing, but it showed how much effort goes into like each small section. And honestly, you can't nail it all the time. Like they were like, yep, nailed it, that one's done. And I'm like, well, there's definitely a part in there that I hated, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I think the dub's solid, and if you ever have to, or ever just want to, I think it's worth a listen.
Definitely.
Watch, listen,
Yeah.
close your eyes and just listen to it. Yeah.
You know, it's fine. I really liked the show. It was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot too. I'm excited for whenever season 2 comes out, and I'm excited to keep reading it. So, and I can't wait to spoil it for you, let you know what happens.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, man. That's the show.
Yeah, and next week we're talking about something.
We sure are, because that's how we do it. Unless we're dead because of this horrible virus.
Well, we're not gonna die, but we might be sick. Might not be a good thing to record, so we'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay, so so next week we'll do something.
Yeah.
If you like our logo, hit up Aaron from TurbyTops.com. If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can we find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at InstaRamenPod.
Podcast Benefit.
And you can go ahead and email us, InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you guys very much for listening. It was a super fun show. It was a super fun week. So I hope you watch it. And yeah, I don't know, man.
I hope that this audio thing works out. I hope we can make it not be horrible.
People don't even know what we're talking about because it sounds so good. Don't worry
Fingers
about it, man.
crossed.
It's going to sound fucking awesome.
Well, you're in charge of it. So.
I am. All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you again for listening. Juan. Bye from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.
And wash your hands with soap for 20 seconds at least, all right?